When I started babysitting, I thought I hit the jackpot when a wealthy family paid me $200 to babysit their child for a night. I never could have guessed this would have ruined my life forever. The children were extremely well behaved, and everything went smoothly the first night. The young couple must have thought I had done a good job because word spread quickly around the rich neighborhood that I was a great babysitter choice. This was perfect for me. Most families around here pay way better than where I live since they all come from a long line of wealthy families, but I was always suspicious about some of them. You hear rumors about wealthy people and some creepy stories, but I never actually believed them. Sometimes, I'll babysit for a few hours and make a couple $100. Other times, the parents want me to stay the night while they go off and get a hotel room so that they can be away from their kids for a change. That is where I make the big bucks. A couple of days ago, a husband and wife texted me, asking if I could stay the night at their mansion and watch their 7-year-old little girl for them. I happily agreed, not knowing this might be the last time I ever see the outside world again. When the day finally came, I drove my beat-up Dodge Charger to the edge of the rich neighborhood. I made my way up this private driveway, which I'd never noticed because the entrance was hidden behind the trees surrounding the entire north side of town. I drove up this steep, winding driveway for what seemed like 10 minutes before I finally saw the house come into view. Out of all the houses I babysat at, this was hands down the most gorgeous one I've ever seen. I hoped I would get some good money for this. I exited my car and went up to the front porch, where I knocked on this gigantic wooden door. A few seconds later, a beautiful woman in her mid-30s answered and introduced herself as Mrs. Smith. She called her husband down, and shortly after, an extremely handsome man in his 30s came walking down the grand staircase holding an adorable little girl in his arms. The couple seemed very anxious to leave, and even though they were both gorgeous people, I could tell that underneath all of their beauty, they were exhausted and haggard from having to keep up with their 7-year-old. They were excited about having an entire night, and couldn't wait to get out of there as fast as possible. However, before Mr. and Mrs. Smith left, Mrs. Smith handed me several pieces of paper and told me that she had written down a couple of instructions for me to follow throughout the night. She stressed the importance of following her instructions, and I assured her I'd give them a look. I waved to the pretty young couple as they drove down the driveway in their expensive Mercedes and closed the door behind me. I gave the instructions a quick once-over before folding the papers and stuffing them into my back pocket. I would look at them later, I told myself. How stupid I was to do that.